Hey guys, it's Kira and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be giving you guys my 10 tips for surviving midterm season. It is currently midterm season in university and it is a stressful time. I love how they plan the midterms all like within a day of each other. So it's like back to back to back. It's very fun. Very fun. Love that for us. But anyways, I'm going to give you guys some tips. So hopefully this midterm season goes by a little bit smoother and a little bit better. So tip number 1 is to stay organized. I feel like with university, you need to have all like your due dates and things laid out because you will, matter of fact, you will forget something will slip your mind because professors are not constantly reminding you of things. Maybe your friend will bring something up and you'll be like, oh my god, I completely forgot about that. So staying organized is definitely a big thing. What I like to use is a planner, and I have basically everything that I need to get done that day in here, as well as like due dates that are up and coming and things like that. So that's very important. I know a lot of people use like Google Calendar and stuff like that. That is a great idea as well. Just have something where you can write all your things out and make sure that you're not forgetting anything, and also plan out your study times, when you're going to study for this subject, when you're going to study for that subject, to make sure that, you know, you're getting all your readings done before the test and you're practicing and things like that. My next big tip is to take breaks. Okay, burnout is a real thing, and it's honestly, it is the worst. It is not fun. So make sure you are taking breaks because we don't want to be burnt out, especially when we have like 3 midterms upcoming. We don't want to get burnt out after studying for just the first, because those other 2, they're still worth 30% of your mark, and you need that 30%. So definitely take breaks. That being said, though, don't be like, oh, 5 minutes of work, oh, I'll take a 2-hour break. It needs to have a good balance, and that is a balance that I'm still trying to figure out for myself. But I find like a few hours on and then like 30 minutes off tends to work the best for me. Everyone's different. The third tip I have is to prioritize. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. The first test or assignment that's due should be the first thing that you do, should be the thing that you're focusing most of your attention on. But of course, when you're studying something for so long, you get bored of that one thing. So I understand like switching between subjects, but definitely prioritize and make sure that everything is getting done when it needs to be done. Next tip I have is to practice your learning. You can write notes, handwritten notes, all day long, but the material is not going to really get ingrained into your memory unless you are doing practice quizzes, unless you are using flashcards and maybe like practicing definitions and things like that. And most professors I've found actually give you practice quizzes that kind of resemble the actual exam. I know a few of my professors have done that, but if your professors do not do that, there is a big chance that there is one on the internet somewhere that you can just Google, look it up, and do it. You can just test yourself, or you can test with friends, and that's really helpful too. My next tip is to not be afraid to seek help from your classmates. The amount of times I have texted one of my friends in my classes being like, hey, I didn't understand this concept. Could you maybe explain it to me in a different way? Or like, did you understand this part? Or any confusion that you have, honestly, ask one of your classmates about it because they might have a good answer for you. They might have a tip on how to remember things better. So don't be afraid to ask help, okay? Don't be afraid. The next thing kind of goes along with that. It is make study groups of people in your classes and study the material together. Speak it out loud to each other. It'll help you all remember the material a lot better. Trust me. I'm not doing that this time around because I feel like everything just kind of like got piled on all at once. And there wasn't really time for that. But I did it for the final exams last term, and honestly, it was really, really helpful. Even like the last few minutes walking into the exam, me and my friends were talking through certain concepts, and it honestly, those concepts showed up on the exam, and I remembered because we had just talked about it in the hallway walking into the exam. So study groups, talking it through with people honestly helps. Also because you guys understand things in different ways. People are so creative and so smart with like memorization techniques, and they're helpful. They're really helpful. Okay, the next tip I have is so important, is get enough sleep. I know that it is so tempting to just get through everything the night before and like not sleep and then go into the exam and be like, yes, I just did all this. I just pulled an all-nighter for this. Like, don't do that, okay? Because it affects your brain, okay? It does. And if you have multiple tests back to back to back, that's not gonna work, okay? You're gonna like be sleep deprived, not being able to think. Like, it's just going to be terrible. So get sleep. One thing that I have prioritized throughout my time in university is my sleep. I am always going to bed before midnight or a little bit after midnight and waking up at a reasonable time. So yeah, even if you work better at night, you still need your sleep. The next tip I have is to manage your stress, especially when there's tests back to back to back. I feel like the pressure can just really suffocate you, and it's not fun. So during a lot of my breaks from studying, I like to mentally check in with myself and be like, hey, we're okay. We have a plan on how we're studying this, on how we're doing this. We're good. We don't need to be so stressed out, because also I feel like when you're stressed, you're not really retaining or taking in as much information as when you're chill, not stressed out about anything. So just make sure to manage your stress, because also having high stress levels for a long time is really bad. I heard it's like it makes you more susceptible to like sickness and stuff like that. So don't quote me on that, but I've heard it and I believe it. So yeah. My next tip is a very important one that I should have listened to. Avoid cramming. My first midterm is literally in 2 days, and I still have a whole textbook chapter to read and take notes for. And each chapter is very long. It took me 3.5 hours to read a chapter, the chapter before this chapter. So, and then writing notes takes another like 2-3 hours. So avoid cramming, because it also makes your stress go up a lot, and it's not worth it. And when you cram, that's when you are more likely to get burnt out, because you're just trying to get everything done, do it, and you're gonna exhaust yourself, and it's not good. And last but not least, my final tip is to celebrate your small victories. You got one thing done, give yourself a round of applause. That is absolutely amazing. And you did that. And I feel like when you celebrate your small victories, it makes you more motivated and excited. Maybe not excited, but maybe a little bit excited to do the next thing and complete that. And then you get to celebrate that victory as well. So just celebrate the small victories. Be proud of yourself. Give yourself grace. And yeah. Anyways, those are all my tips for how to survive midterm season. I hope everyone out there is doing amazing, and that you guys are all getting your studying in, that all your study sessions are going well. Believe in yourself. You got this. We're all gonna do great this midterm season. And with that, I'm going to end off this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will, of course, see you all in the next one. Bye!